G'day, boys. Maddo here. Few little technical difficulties, but yeah, I think I sort of buggered up something. I was going to try and use something else, but stuffed it up. Anyway, how's your day? Hope it's been really well. Hope all's going well. I'm just going to do a couple of little things because this other little setup that I had, it's not working. I stuffed up today. But anyway, we'll manage. We'll just have to sort this little bit out. I get to this done, bring that up, and yeah, see how it all pans out. Just doing a few little adjustments here and there, but what can you do? So I'm just moving that over here. I'll just leave that to the side. Anyway, how's your day been? Just see what happens here because that looks a wee bit too bright. I don't know how that looks on your TV, but anyway, it is what it is. So anyway, as I said, I'll just get started on a few little things I've been doing. Hope your day's gone well and everything is well for you. Just knocked up a few little facts and I'll do a couple of stories. I won't ramble on like I did last time. But anyway, with that, so I've got a couple of viewers there. So I did do a little bit of research on a couple of little fun facts, and I have been thinking about some few little stories here and there. I was thinking about how I actually started travelling in the first place. I got me a friend of mine to actually thank for that, but the story goes back quite a few years prior to that. And with that, most would know that I have been looking after my parents for approximately 10-ish plus, if not a bit more years. Mum's passed away now. Dad's now in a nursing home, so I'm sitting here by myself. Not much I can do about it, but as far as Dad's still concerned. But with that, it goes with life. That's it. So with that, I started doing a bit of travelling when I had the chance to, when Mum was in hospital. My mate decided, yep, we'll come do some scuba diving with me over to Thailand. So with that, I was told to actually go because I was like a bear with a sore head because I spent a lot of time in lockdown with Mum because of her circumstances. From there, I went along for the first trip. It was just a totally in-your-face sort of thing. It's just all totally new to me. I'd never travelled over. I only travelled overseas once before, and that was to Vanuatu to do a bit of scuba diving on the President SS Coolidge. Love that. Then I got the opportunity a few years later when my mate sort of more or less gave me a bit of a breathing space and dragged me over to Koh Samui in Thailand. From there, loved it. Spent the next 3 years travelling through there. Done a couple of trips here to Phuket, Bangkok, Chiang Mai, a few other little places and quite a few other places in between in the following 7-8 years, which leads me into Cambodia. And from there, that's where my journey as far as Cambodia is concerned started way back then, pretty close to 8 years ago. So that was fine. I still enjoy it. I still enjoy going to Thailand. I do have a lot of stories from Thailand, but some I can tell. Quite a few I don't think I will, but that's part and parcel of having a bit of fun. So with that, I sort of will give you a little bit of a fun fact about Cambodia. So most people would know, some would not know, and this is pretty much relevant to Cambodia itself. So with that, Phnom Penh fell to the Khmer Rouge on April 16, 1975, because that was quite a few years ago. That was 42 years ago, something like that. And for almost 4 years, the Khmer Rouge did what they did. And then from there, after nearly 4 years, and somewhere around between 1.7 and 3 million people lost their lives, basically genocide. So they died. And yeah, so that is not a very good thing to do. I did go to the torture museum, one for a better word, the torture centre there, which was a high school. They converted into that. That is a place you sort of really go through and take a deep breath once you sort of start to get to understand. I was old enough to understand what was happening there at the time, back in the mid-70s onwards, hearing all the nonsense, I won't call it nonsense, all the devastation going through there. But that went on for nearly 4 years. So on roughly, let's see, now I'll go to my little statistics. I've got these written down. God, I can't even read. So out of that, for nearly four years, nearly. So from there, it was around about the January 7th in 1979. That's when Vietnam went in there and with backing liberated Phnom Penh from what was going on. And some people don't like what happened when Vietnam went in there to liberate it, but anyway. So that's been a journey. G'day, DC. How are you, mate? Glad to see you here. So with that, Cambodia's sort of been struggling for quite a while from 79 right through, and probably a sad thing going along is that the Khmer Rouge, being the political ruling party, held their UN seat from 1979 to 1990, even though they were ousted. But that was legitimately, they held that until the UN made a decree on that. So with that, and with after 1979, or 1979, 1980, people started getting their life a little bit back together, and you go through to for the next 40 odd years to current concurrent, which is probably works out to about 42-ish years. It just comes out at the majority of the people are very, very still young in a very, very young country, one for a better word, after the devastation that went through. And the ones that do remember the Khmer Rouge days will be well into their 50s. So, yeah, I think a lot of people have had enough of Thailand. But you'll get to learn a lot about Cambodia. I think it's going to be a little bit to go before anybody can do anything. I've been stuck in here in Melbourne, Oz, for quite a while, DC. I'm looking forward to going back. I was planning to go back last year for a couple of trips and this year for a few more trips. But I think you can have so much of Thailand, you need a break from it. I was trying to do a little bit of Vietnam and a little bit of the Philippines, go do some diving there. But anyway, so with the people back in their 50s, they're sort of struggling to go through with it. I don't know the demographics, exactly how much of the Khmer Rouge got to these people, but the 50-plus people don't really talk a lot about it, and the younger people that were born after 1980 don't remember or hear of anything about it. But I do know the government of the time is still trying to preserve the S21 centre, one for a better word, and the killing fields to let the younger generation know what happened on back then. So that's a sad couple of facts there, and it's been pretty close, as I said, to 42-ish years since the liberation of Cambodia, or Cambodia, as it was formerly known. But anyway, apart from that, on a little bit of a sad note, I won't try and go on too much. I did go rang on about nearly an hour and a half last time. Got sidetracked a little bit. But tonight will be a little bit about stories and so forth. Cambodia, I did talk about on my first live stream, Cambodia, how I got there, what had happened, things that I saw, how I got there. From there, I was just taken aback because it was in my face. I'd never been anywhere unplanned before. Thailand was sort of planned. I sort of had a guy who got me through Thailand, or Koh Samui, one for a better word, and then I sort of explored Phuket, done a bit of diving over there with a friend of mine, who, he is a friend now, but he wasn't back then. I didn't know him. Actually, used to live not far from me and work not far from me. So that was quite a bit of a surprise. But with that, I tend to still like going through Thailand. I do like it very much. The infrastructure there makes it so easy to travel anywhere. Cambodia is, you've got to be more self-reliant and know a little bit how to make do. With that, I mean, is you still have your Google, your internet and so forth to help you along. These things, I think, make life a lot easier. The Philippines, I was only going to travel there and have a look through to Cambodia. The Philippines are making the visas a bit harder. I haven't looked a great deal into it. I do know quite a few people here in Melbourne. I don't know exactly where you're from, Mr. DC. But I know quite a few friends here who have Filipino wives, and I think we could get by, myself and a couple of friends could easily quite get by with the people that I know who have family over there. We sort of organised quite a few times, but never got around to actually getting over to the Philippines. But the visa at the moment, they're changing it around in the Philippines, so I don't know. Cambodia at the moment, they got quite a few little different options. Oh, you're in England. Yeah, have a few friends that are still in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh itself, from England. So all good. What's the weather like there? Hope it's, well, today was pretty good, but it's still a bit on the chilly side. We're still coming out of our winter, going into our spring, want for a better word. Yeah, so with that, the visa itself, you can walk in, depending on how you want to do it. You can do it online. G'day, Jet Wetman. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. The entry on arrival, that's quite easily to do, 35 US. I don't know whether they'll change a lot of that at the moment, but at the moment, you won't get in. No one's going to get in. But I think the way they're going with Cambodia, they might be actually opening up their borders a lot sooner than quite a few other people, or a lot of other countries at the moment, because their vaccination's going quite well. They're really getting that close to that herd immunity type with their vaccinations. There are a couple other channels that I do watch that sort of confirm that, unrelated to each other. So with that, all looking good, but as Mr. Jet Wetman knows, it's turning to crap here day by day because of our northern friends, whether people want to say, yeah, it is what it is, or, you know, but it's happened, and now we have to deal with it. And I think we're just getting over it. It's just getting harder and harder. But with the visa options, adding and raining, Coventry. Oh, well, it's pretty much 18 today. I'm only wearing this because I done all my washing when I come home from work today. So you might be in good weather there, but Cambodia still is in the rainy weather. So it rained the other day when I talked to the missus. I'm waiting for her to call. I'll just do something now so that doesn't get disturbed from it. But yeah, visas, I think you can get around quite easily. Getting citizenship there is very, very difficult. I think the last one I heard, you have to be over 80 years old, be of sound mind, invest something like $500,000 in there, and it goes on ridiculously. Or you can just get a retirement visa and just pay that yearly. And I think that's probably the easiest way to go. I'm looking at retiring over there. My whole plan is I'll have a property over there through the missus, so I don't have to worry too much about accommodation and so forth. Jet Wetman will like that. A few other people want to make sure I've got enough room for them when they turn up. But out of that, the visa system is relatively simpler rather than the mind-boggling nonsense you've got to go through with through the Thai immigration and Thai system. It's the only way you get around that is a couple of ways is you spend money, I mean big money, to get their so-called elite visa. I don't think that's viable. That's just a money grab by having so much money in there. From there, yeah, we all like aircon when it's stinking hot, especially when you have it down to 16 degrees there, Mr. Jet Wetman, and you walk outside and your glasses fog up. great, mate, when it's nearly 30 or 40 odd degrees outside. I remember that one. Yeah, getting back. Jumping through hoops to get their visas in Thailand, just becoming ridiculous. I just can't see why you want to, unless you do go to school over there and just do a schooling there. Or the only other possible way I could think you're doing it for a sort of long term is marry a Thai over there. But then, do you really? I would never invest any sort of money. I'd never buy a property over there because you'll never own it. You'll only own the land. Here we go. I'll tell you a story about that. It happened quite a few years ago. It has, and I haven't heard of anything like it since, but I think it's probably the best way to go. There are two ways of getting around to having a long-term stay. Just thinking off my head right now is you have to turn around and be a registered company in Thailand. Then what I heard this particular person did was he went and bought the land because he was a registered investor. He bought up the land, built 4 units, one big unit for himself, made it magnificent, and built 3 other units. And with that, he turned around and put them up for sale, even though they were only small units in close proximity to each other. He had his property that he was trying to sell the whole lot, but knowing the Thais, they don't want to live anywhere near Farang. So that stayed for sale for forever, basically for a long, long time. So what he ended up doing, I knew what he was planning to do and how it was going about, is that he turned around and, okay, if I can't sell anything, which I knew that was the whole reason for it, I'll just rent them out to people who want to come over here and until they're sold. Well, for obvious reasons, the Thais, no one ever bought there. He just rented them out, and he had his long-term stay through being a registered investor building in Thailand. That's the only way you could own, well, sort of land until you get to sell it. But since no one else could turn around and didn't want to come and buy from him, locals, whatever. So, hey, he got his long-term investment and he got his long-term stay there until whenever he decides to go. As I said, the only other way was to marry someone, but then you don't want to do, unless you really, really do. It can work out depending on which section of the Thai community you marry, bar girl or not. We'll leave that one alone for the time being. But with that, you turn around and you invest a lot of money and you get the elite visa, which is just so much of a headache. But in Cambodia, I find that you go through each one. You do pay. You can go there. You get your O visa, I think it is, from memory, not your tourist one. Your tourist is only good for 30 days. Then you get your other one, your standard visa, which when you get there, you can upgrade. As soon as you get there, it takes about, depending where you are, if you're in Siem Reap, it'll probably take pretty close to 4 weeks to get it. Your next step up where you can extend your visa, you can go to 3, 6 or 12 months, depending on what you're prepared to spend or how long you want to spend there. So that'll give you pretty close to 13 months first up. But with that comes, you do your 3-month extension, which a lot of people do. You pay, I can't remember exactly how much that is. You can do your 6-month, was about $300 something US. From there, you turn around and with that $300 6-month one, which I always thought would be the better option if you were going to come and go, which that visa particularly gave you, a multi-entry visa, that one was. I thought that was pretty good. Then you can go into the 12 months. So it's a 3, 6 and 12 month other than the tourist one. And it takes roughly about 4 weeks to get either one of them. So that's not too bad. So I always thought, well, I'll go over there. And for the retirement one, well, I'm in that retirement age as well. Depending on where you want to stay, Siem Reap, Kampot, Sinookville's not going to be in any question now. That's been run by another country, basically. I won't go into that one. If you want to find out what that is, one day it'll look fantastic, mini Macau, but it's only aimed at one segment of the population, which is not Khmer. So with that, I look at it. Maybe I'll go back there one day. Sanookville's not going to be the place that I'll like, because it's just built up. It just went nuts in the last 4 years, and it's been 4 or 5 years since I've been there. Every now and again, I stop and have a look at video of what's down there and the amount of money and everything that's gone in. And yes, they have had their problems down there, as like everywhere else. So yeah, I'll just have a quick squizzle. And with that, it'll develop. It is a deep sea port, and that's where a lot of the money is being put at the moment to get stuff through there. With the particular establishments going up, if you have been there and know there, go and check them out. Check out Sanookville about 6-7 years ago. You'll see what it's like, plus. And then you come back and you have a look at what's recently. Yes, it has taken a long time for them to get there, but they've just, like everywhere, they just do everything at once. You go and have a look at Simrap at the moment. 38 road project turned it into a complete dust bowl. They just dug up everywhere. Instead of completing one section at a time, they went and hit the whole lot, and it seems like nothing's getting done. But looking at another YouTuber up there, it is slowly getting done. Yes, all things take time, but it just seem to have done so much so quick, and just looks like they've ripped everything up. They went along reclaiming a lot of the government land. Well, that was going to happen sooner or later, but that was what the government wanted to do. So with that, whether it'll happen anywhere else, but Phnom Penh has, when I get back there, I've been watching a few different places that I go around. I basically stay around the Bassac Lane area down there, and I like it quite there, and I like the hotel, but I'll be living a little bit further down. I wanted to actually retire this year, DC, but who can go anywhere and retire at the moment? Can't. So I'm just bumming it around and working as much as I can just to fulfill that one little extra bit where I don't have to worry too much about it when I finally do retire. At the moment, I don't see this year at all. That's not going to be in anybody's equation. Next year, forget the first half of next year. I'm looking, hopefully they start opening up a few places. The way Cambodia is going at the moment, that is starting to look good. But it still comes down to how you get there, and the price of airfares, I'm hearing, is just absolutely ridiculous. Siem Reap, I didn't mind. I think it'll be way better when they finish all their roads project up there. A couple of people that I do follow, for real, they lived up there, but there was just so much dust around, and because they hit so many roads at once. I enjoyed it. I went to Angkor Wat a few times with a mate and with missus, and I walked around the market. I like sitting back, relaxing. The only place I really drink is when I go away. I don't tend to drink at all much, one for a better word, at all here. This is probably, well, don't be, appearances are not what they seem to be, because I got to be 00 alcohol content for my work all the time, so I don't get a break from it. So that's only just a drink, nothing more, just for appearance sake. Siem Reap will come back. I think that's one of the places they're going to try and open up to get the tourists back up to there, because without the tourists going through Siem Reap to Angkor Wat, it's just basically dead set quiet. G'day, Mr. Mark. How's things going? Bubble burst yet? Won't know. Oh, it's still very interesting. Another couple of weeks, I hope. Hope it's all going well for you. Yeah, so Siem Reap will be an interesting place when they finish all the roadworks and that there, and everything sort of comes up pretty good. It will look good. The roads are starting to look good in a few little places here and there, but as I said, it's just gone nuts. I want to go back up there when all the roads are all done and finalised and finished, and see how everything the footpaths are all done. Whether they get used by these antique Camrys. Bit of a dig there. Oh, mate. A few more weeks. You said that last time, Mark. Anyway, yeah. Oh, we're hanging in for you. Well, you're hanging in anyway. Hope she's not driving you nuts. Good on you, Canal. Yep, that's what COVID does for you. So, yeah, so I think Siem Reap will be a vastly different place to go and visit next time. From there, I don't know what they're doing with their new airport out at Bonabang. That'll be interesting. They reckon they're getting stuck right into that. A couple of videos that I've tracked down and found, they're really, really hammering that. Yeah, well, the roads will have to look pretty mint there, Mark, just to keep the cameras together, because I don't think they can handle being shaken a lot. All the rust and bog and everything else will fall out of them. Unlike the Priuses, you know, good stuff, environmentally friendly. Oh, sorry about that. That was my fault. Anyway, we won't talk too much about those Camrys and those Priuses. That's another little thing. Yeah, so I reckon it will look pretty mint. But they're probably one of the bigger places there that are suffering. Campot I like a fair bit, because I like down near the water. I was looking there quite a few years ago when I moved around, went through Snookville, and I just loved there. I love going down to Kep for their crab market. Yes. Yeah, you can absolutely have a really, really good meal with the crabs and everything there. Oh, mate, just want to get your ute there, get one of those big ice boxes, fill it up, well, half full of ice, throw as many crabs as you can in there, and then just take them back and just eat along the way and cook it when you get back. Well, I can basically base myself in Phnom Penh. But from there, I know where you like jet weapon, Soy 6, Thailand. Yeah, anyway. So with that, I still want to explore a lot more, but until we can all get over there, there's still a lot more development. I've been looking and watching quite a few odd videos here and there from many different people, even some of the newer guys that are around, and I'm just seeing so many places I should know, but the development, even in Phnom Penh, is still going ahead leaps and bounds. So whether I can get back to some of the bars over there and have a couple of good nights at them, to sit back and drink. I know 51 Street will look a lot different. It started to look a lot different. I did see another video opposite the Walkabout Hotel, which is no longer there, which is a Korean noodle soup shop. That has totally gone. That was my very first hotel there. So that's all gone. There's a lot of development just on that big block itself. So I don't know what they're doing there yet. I didn't really know what they were thinking there, but they have renovated. Well, your little video in Phuket, mate. I think I've seen all your videos, and that doesn't leave much for me to think about, does it there, Mr. Jet Weapon? It's a friend of mine. Yeah, so out of that, a lot of other places further down. I don't know what's happening there in the other girly bars and whatnot. I know the candy bar is gone. That happened the last time I was there. They'd all be suffering. They'll be standing around. You don't see a great deal of videos happening there. But with that, my plans are to actually have a place outside of Phnom Penh, probably further away from Koh Pit, probably similar issue down here, Tek Mao, probably not quite as far down there. Mark would know that area. I haven't done a great deal of travelling around there. Mine's been around in Vihirsur, over the other side of the river. I'll be waiting to see how they go with the new bridge. I don't know if you knew about that. from Koh Pik right across over to the other side of the Tonle Sap and the Mekong. They were building a bridge. So that only just come out. I did read about it 3-ish weeks ago, but there wasn't a great deal said about it. So that'll be a huge difference there, and watch the land prices go up on the other side of that where the bridge comes out. So that'll do a little bit of damage to the ferry crossing, because people won't be using that anymore. It'll be a lot quicker just to drive across. So I think that'll be the case for development, progress. I did state that once before, but out of that, my partner's family mostly live over the other side there in Vihirsut. So that's very Khmer. It takes a little bit to get there. You go past the sweatshops, one for a better word, that's what they are. And they're a sight to behold, but it is what it is. And they've had their little bit of problems there. Different type of tuk-tuk there, buddy. So with that, it does take still, even in a tuk-tuk, it'll take a fair while. If you go around, it'll take you about an hour to get there. If you go across the ferry, it'll take you about 45 minutes. So you're not going to gain a great deal straight tuk-tuk. But anyway, I normally just ride across. Easy enough done there. End up at the farthest place. But by the sounding of it, I'll probably end up with him. I don't matter. When I decide to go travel, he can look after the place, and we can go enjoy the rest of the sightseeing around wherever we go. So there's still a lot of development to go. It'll be interesting to see what they actually, the design they actually do come up with. But this has been in planning for a little while, obviously, and they've just let it out of the cat out of the bag, so to speak. And it'll be really good when that finally happens. It'll be saving a lot of hassle going through that ferry where you wait for everybody and just watch them. Oh, glug, glug, glug. Yeah, so with that, that'll be interesting times, and I'll closely watch the price of land just over the other side, heading over there. I reckon that'll be the area where the price of land will start going through the roof, when they start doing a lot more development. I do like going over to Kodak, just up onto the point there. That's a good little place. I don't know if you've ever been up there where they have their little beach when it's really hot there, Mark. Takes a little bit of an adventure to get there. When you get there, it's just like one of those resorts there where you sit there in their beach huts and eat and drink for the rest of the day. I've done that quite a few times, and that was a long day. But some of the water that goes through there, it's a bit sus. Very sus. So, yeah, well, I'm not talking to you, Billy. Swimming in any of the river just around near Phnom Penh, I think. But it's just something you do, something you get away from. But I reckon where I was thinking, just down from the Basak area, which I enjoy, the hotel I stayed at, is getting surrounded by very tall buildings. And I do like the hotel that I stay in. There is on my channel there, Basak Lane there. It's a little Khmer family-run business, and they do look after you quite well. From there, they do a fantastic job. When I first went there, they'd only just finished renovating it, and I've just stayed in nearly all their rooms, with the exception of their really big one. From there, I look at it, I'd rather spend the money there. I have stayed at a few others which come under some other nationalities. And I thought, well, they look after, I pay that a little bit more. I think it's pretty close to 4+ star boutique hotel. The Corner 9 Basak Boutique Hotel. Really nice, and I like it. They had their own little garden. And it's only 2 levels, and it's just finally getting all plants done properly, and they got the pool there. But they built on the corner there. It was a vacant block of land. Then they built this huge overshadowing building, as they tend to do. But from there, I reckon that is still the place to go. I did stay at a couple other just up the road from there. That was still okay, but I found that a bit pricey. I did get that the Corduroy Hotel. I did get that on special, I think, for about $70 odd. It was regularly $90, but I keep paying around about the $55 mark for the Corner 9 Boutique Hotel, just right on Bassac Lane. I think Jeremy from Real was done a little video just down the other end there. And I like Bassac Lane because lots of little boutique hotels. Last time I was there, or pubs or walk-in bars and what have you, really good. It's a little bit more of a yuppie-ish, they try to push area, but short walking distance. There was a young couple that set up a nice little eatery bar there. Really good ambience. I liked it. The beers were a bit pricey, but out of that, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I did walk around a fair bit around the area, and I did have a really good first stop every time I landed in Phnom Penh. When I first started going there and had my partner there, I used to just land and never tell them when I was going to be there. So I'd rock up, plane at land, go through customs, get to my hotel around about 10 o'clock. If I could go straight into my room, beautiful, shower, shave, cool off, get changed, and I'd go out and I'd have my, the very first thing I would have would be my beer and the burger. And it was run by an Australian who also had a hotel combined with it. They said it, quite a few people said it was pretty good. That's my little mate Billy, 15 years old. And yeah, and it was really good. But I just kept going back because the beers were really icy cold. A lot of Australian expats and workers there, NGOs and whatnot, used to always turn up there around about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the afternoon for their few little goodies. From there, I used to always get the burger. And you see the little McShit burger. This thing, when the first time I seen it, I was just stopped there to have a quick beer and gather my thoughts when I walked past there when I was staying up the Home Chick Hotel up on Street 282, next to the Scores Sport Bar. Great place there. And from there, anyway, so out of that, I used to just go there, stop, land, get there, and have a few drinks, then order a meal, because by the time we get there, depending whether it was summer, so we were 4 hours behind. So when we land there at lunchtime, it was late, yada, yada, go there, have a bite to eat, look at me watch, yep, time to go find the missus and let her know I'm here. So I used to always walk in there. And with that, I used to always walk to where her house was. And this particular time, I got their burgers. I mean, really, really big. I mean, the first time I seen one of the burgers at the Aussie XL Cafe, I think it's being sold out now. I thought, how the hell are you going to eat that, mate? And it was, and I'd have 2 beers there and I'd look at it. And then you had your chips as well. So I think it was for the burger, I got yeah, all right, Wolfie. I got can't remember what it was. It was just a saying like an Aussie burger, but all the Aussie meat, tomato, beetroot, lettuce, onion, egg, cheese. I mean, fair income. It was big. And I actually did get through it the first time. I said, I'm not having a drink before I have this one. It's just so much. And with that, I turned around and have a couple of drinks. I said to the other guy who originally I saw, I'm going around in circles here, how the hell did you get through that? And he said the same thing. I said, I ordered it, and when they brought it out, I was gobsmacked. And I used to go there on the first, that was my actual first stop after walking out of the hotels when I got to, when I first started staying around the Bassac area. and it was just massive. And I paid, I think it was $13 US, which worked out to about $17 for her. So I get 2 beers, a big burger, and a big bowl of chips. So then I know I'd have to go and walk it off. So out of that, from there, what I would do, I always loved cheap cold beers. But I think that the place, I think I paid about $1.50. That was probably one of the more expensive ones. But then you didn't get just your bottle of beer. You got probably nearly 2 bottles of beer in it. They were big glasses. So that's why I didn't mind paying that little bit more for them. So it's like paying 75 cents for 2 beers. It's $1.50, but you basically got your big handled glass container to hold it. So it was good. Anyway, so further on, last time I went there, I did this little thing. I haven't done this for a long time. I went and walked to where my partner's house was. They were living up, well, I should say unit. They were living upstairs. So I'm walking along. Eventually got there, and I mean, it's sweating. Eventually got there, and as you know, a lot of those places, they have their car parks underneath, big iron gates, all shut up and everything, but they had this little side gate where you could walk through. And I knew that was open, but I had to walk down the side because up on the first floor, the 2 little girls always playing. And I'm walking down thinking, oh, God, I hope they don't see me, And as I got to where the house was, where the unit was, I opened up the door. This other lady walked out, and she looked stupid at me. Are they up there? That's all right. They know me. And she just gave me a filthy look. So I go surprise them. So she walked onto the other side of the road and watched me walk up. As I walked down and up the stairs to the first floor, I ducked under the window there, got through to the little balcony there where they had the little child-proof gate to stop the little ones from going away. And just as I stood up on there, partner's sister walked out. So I had to go, shh, don't say nothing. Are they there? And they go, yeah, they're all there. They're all having their afternoon nap. So I actually was able to walk in, sit down. I do have a photo here of the particular day with the 2 little ones. And I sat down, and the eldest of the 2 little ones wanted to wake everybody up because no one knew I was there. Well, 2 of them did anyway at that particular time. And they're going, wake up. And you just see, I was just watching, you just see the, go away. Wake up. And just little my slapping my partner on the face, Chandler on the face. Come on, wake up. And you can see, go away. We just went back to sleep. And then next minute, the eyes wake up. Oh, what are you doing here? I knew you were coming. Yeah, you didn't know I was coming. So out of that, and then the youngest daughter there, she woke up, and she just going, so, what are you doing here? Well, I come to visit you. That's what I come here for. So that was always did that. Probably one of the better ones that I did, where I just sat in the room and they didn't even know I was there except for my and mother. So that was hilarious. As I call my one of my little girls anyway. So I got 4 girls, 2 sisters, and a grandson. So that sort of forms part of my mob. But anyway, I deal with it. That's all the fun for it. And from there, I've always enjoyed going there. And I just like going there, sitting back, chilling out. And when I'm in that particular hotel there, I like going in the pool because I know the little ones love coming there. And it's just a relief for them to play in the water and have a bit of fun because they don't normally get that unless they get taken to the river or somewhere around there. They don't have that opportunity. And it costs me just me time. And then at night time, go out. Probably the last story I'll tell before I'm not going to go talk for an hour, but the last story I'm going to talk about is on one of my drinking nights. I think we all have a few words with our partners at the time. They go away in disgust or whatever, you know. So I thought, what am I going to do? She went off and done what she was going to do. I can't remember where she went, but she ended up coming back later on in the night. But anyway, so out of that, I thought, what am I going to do? So with that, I turned around and thought, thought, well, I'm not going to go too far because I wasn't in the mood for it. So I'll just go for a walk. Found a bar, basically a hop, step and a jump from the hotel I was staying at on Street 174. So that was fine. That's where I stayed at the time. Mama Varies on Street 174. A lot of good little bars there, a lot of good eateries, very touristy. That was earlier on. So what I did this particular night, I thought, nah, go out, went for a walk around, had a little bite to eat. Thought, nah, I'm just not in the mood for doing a great deal. So what I did, I just found a bar. Basically, there was not many people in there. I just wanted to sit back, talk crap to the girls and just have a few drinks. Boy, did I have a few drinks. So all the beers are around about I think between 50 and 70. I think they're around about 75-cent mark. So, mind you, I was the only one in there that was buying the drinks. So I was shouting the whole bar then. There was about 6 or 7 girls in there. At the end of the night, there was only myself sober and the cashier. So I don't know what time I went in there. So it would have had to been after 8, 9 o'clock for sure. From there, drank myself stupid. Just about everybody else in there was passed out. Didn't have to ring the bell. These are all Anchor beers there, Jetty. And then from there, I just turned around and kept on drinking and drinking. I just lost track of the time. I think it was around about 3 o'clock in the morning when I decided to physically crawl out of the bar because all the girls were either asleep. One was asleep on the bar. One was asleep on one of the little benches. Another one had her head fast asleep on another table. And 2 others were just passed out on the couch around the corner a bit. So I don't know where the other 2 went to. Didn't need to ring a bell because I was the only one there. And the girls would have got the money anyway, so they all got paid. I didn't tally up how much I spent until the next day. But it was a pretty big one, I can assure you of that. I'll get to that one. So I virtually crawled across the street and got to my room. And with that, made it up to my room. God knows how, I don't really remember that much. Got up the next day. Don't get hangovers, thank Christ for that. And no sun that time. I made it back before sun up. Ask the other 2 about that one. Mr. Thailand and Larry, they know all about that one. They were big nights as well. But this was just basically big night by myself. So with that, I managed to go back to sleep or get to sleep and wake up. I don't know what time it was. Must have been about 11, 12 o'clock. So I'll get to the big spending. Don't worry about that. I'll get to the big spending. Because I always check how much I take out and what I come back with. That's a given. I don't take any extra money. Once I run out, that's why when I get close to the end of the night, I try and make sure I've got enough to cover because I don't like going out being escorted to some ATM to pull money out of any ATM. So with that, the next morning I get up, have a shower, go and have a bite to eat. Mrs. had already turned up, unbeknownst to me. I was passed out, so that was good. So we went out and had something. All was good again as usual. And we went and done a few things. She had to go see one of her family members anyway. Can't remember what she did that day, but I was still walking around and done whatever I did during the day. Went back, had a bit of a snooze later on for early afternoon and decided I'll go for a walk for dinner. After dinner, we had dinner around about 7:30ish. Went up to my usual. Love the place there up on opposite the Sawyer Mall on Street 51, the Tin Hat Restaurant. Always had a fantastic meal. Yes, and that's where I had my first dose of Kermie there. Mark knows about them. I'm quite surprised. I didn't close my eyes or anything at it. I didn't know what they were first up, but I enjoyed it. So that was all mixed in with spice chili and everything. So I thought, that got me hooked into Kermie. So with that, getting back onto after having a bite to eat, made my way back to Street 174 and walking around. This is about 8:30, 9 o'clock still, and noticed that the bar I was at was still closed. Okay, must be opening a bit later, or they might be having a night off. So I went and had a couple more drinks elsewhere that particular night. Didn't have a great deal because still feeling a little bit of the effects of the previous night. And met up with the partner, went back to the room, had a good night's sleep, done the same thing again. We went and done whatever we did for the day, went around everywhere, had a look at a few of the markets and whatnot, got a few things, went around to see the sister, and her other sister was home at the time with the two girls, so took them out. I think, where did we go? We took them to a water park, not far from Aon Mall. And from there, yeah, of course, they're always very tasty when they're full of chili, the old Kermies. And then had a big day there with the girls, and then let the girls go home, the little ones, and then got back. And then I thought, no, I'll just check out the money situation. And that's when I realised how much I drank from the previous night. I always take no more than 200 US, no more. And that'll get me through my meals and everything. But you got to remember, I didn't have a meal because I just walked around and I did have a little bite to eat, but I didn't have a great deal at all. But from there, I turned around and ended up at the bar. And I didn't eat anything else after that. So when I got back, woke up. Now, if you can sort of work in roughly $175 worth of alcohol, that's how much I spent at that bar. So you work that out. G'day, Mark. How are you, buddy? Glad to see you, mate. Glad you can join me. Mark rides in Cambodia. He rides his motorbike around. Appreciate the viewing. Yeah, so out of that, I sort of fell over backwards when I realised I spent $175 on alcohol on myself and the girls in the bar before. So that sort of took me back. So anyway, out of that, I went for a walk around and noticed that the bar still wasn't open. So anyway, that never opened for that night. So the next day, done the same thing again, just walking around. And I turned around. Yeah, it was ouch. That was a big surprise. I didn't think I drank that much, but obviously I did. Then this is where the rest of it comes in. So out of that, we went past. The bar still closed. It was still closed at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I had a few drinks, a few other places there, one of my friend's place, and went back, woke up, and the very next day, I seen the guy. He was out there just sweeping around the bar and everything. And I said, oh, have a day off, have a night off last night. The guy didn't quite understand what I meant by having a night off. I said, you weren't open last night. All the girls went home. He goes, no girls last night. Oh, really? Oh, they out having fun with the family? No. Girls very sick last night. Very bad man come here. All girls very drunk. No business last night. Not happy. So I sort of, didn't really say a great deal on who that bad man must have been. So that was one of the more drinking experiences I had there by myself. So he wasn't impressed with me because there was no one there in his bar and they were all basically passed out. So a lot of hangovers to had from that bar 2 nights prior. So not quite Leo, that's what that one is. Yeah, so that was one of the more interesting nights there. It sort of tamed down a little bit. I did hang around that area there for quite a few visits. I like checking out a few different hotels and whatnot. I ended up doing the Essence Hotel, which had a really nice rooftop bar and pool and everything, and it was great with their gym. Sat there quite a few times. I think I've done a video there where it belted down rain. You couldn't see much, and didn't matter. All the tyres. It's amazing when you're out there and up there in the water. It's amazing the tyres and the Cambodians, Khmers, are always in the water. And I thought, it's raining, but then you're going to get wet anyway. And my partner's sister loves swimming all the time, so she's always out in the water, and it's belting. I mean, you know what the rain's like there. It's just like big drops of water. That's grouse. And we just sit there, and I'll sit underneath the umbrella, just drink a few more beers, which I did, and it was belting down rain, something chronic. But they just love it. So I don't mind that, and I don't mind sitting there having a few drinks while it's belting down rain. I'd never do it here in Melbourne because it's just too wet. From there, I look at it that I went from that hotel to, I think it was the Corner Blue Hotel, that was a really nice one. But during the day, the pool got very, very hot because it was in the sunlight all the time. And then they built this humongous building right next to it, and then it just got overshadowed. And I don't like a lot of buildings. I don't know what will happen. I know what I think I'll be doing the next time. From when I get there at the Basak Hotel, whether I find another place or not, I just don't like too many of the bigger buildings around. I like the more ambience of the smaller ones, more personal ones. But time will tell for that. There's always plenty of things to do. Probably one of the places I like going to a lot, I think most people do, is in the afternoon. It's just going up and walking on the riverside, have a meal there, just going for a big walk, then go down to Cape Pick down there. And if there's some entertainment on, which is quite a few times, there's plenty to see and do there. And then from there, I just usually walk back to my hotel. If I'm not having another drink or two along the way, when I walk down the bottom end of Street 51. Saw a malls change so much there. It's not the same. They tried to redo it all, but I think it was too little too late. They let their run go a lot. So they did a really good job on the inside, but there's just not many beer bars up and operating. And I think it's really hosting the locals there. So with that, they did a good job on the inside, trying to get another pub street going in the centre of Phnom Penh. But then when you go walk around further out, you see there's a lot more pub streets quickly put up, ones trying to make their name out of the pub streets. They sadly failed. And then everything started spiralling down to where it is right now. But till I get over there, who knows? When I'll get over there, when most of us will get back there, I don't know. So with that, we'll just have to wait and see. And I do watch Mark Ryder. I do watch your videos all the time to give you a good look on what's around there. I will get myself a motorbike when I get over there, so look out for me when I get over there. So I'll be wanting to ride around a lot more there. I think that's the best way to go. In the city itself, I'm not too confident as it is, but I mostly take tuk-tuk. But then when I do take their tuk-tuks, I look at it, I can have a few drinks and whatnot, go chuck everybody in the tuk-tuk and just go to where I need to. And it's quite cheap. When I want to go do something by myself, and that'll be further on down the line, do a bit more exploring, I reckon I will turn around and exploring a bit more on a motorbike. And I think that's really the only way to go. Until I'm more settled in there, I'm not going to buy a car just yet. And that's probably one of the scary things, but that's a longer term proposition. So anybody out there who is still looking at a lot of videos, Mark Ryder does a lot of YouTube moto vlogs. He rides around quite a few places, quite interesting. It was quite interesting watching you ride all the way up to Siem Reap. That is one hell of a ride. Mind you, I can't remember how long you took. I think you done it in about 4.5, 5 hours. Not my kind of style. I reckon I done quite well the last time I went from Phnom Penh through to Siem Reap. Done it in 25 minutes. You just had enough time to get up there, have a drink, pack everything up, then land. That was quite expensive, but yeah. No, I'm looking forward to doing a lot of exploring on a motorbike there. I think there is a lot of great things that need to be brought out in the open, which a lot of people don't really see. I look at it that the more you can promote places like that, the better the place will become with tourists that really like going there. So I look at it, if you can promote and do good there, it looks better. But you have to get out there and explore. And a lot of the driving, I think one of the worst roads to travel on is National Road 4. Been on it twice, and my God, if you're ever driving down National Road 4, it's just like suicide. I really said from day one, why haven't they divided this road? because you'll have a car passing a truck, and then a truck will try and pass the car passing the truck. And it doesn't matter if there's oncoming traffic, that truck's going to keep going until it gets past everybody, regardless of who, what, where, or when. And how many bad accidents I've seen have basically been head on, because the bigger the truck, the more rights they think they have. The pecking order, the hierarchy of it all. Oh, yeah, well, exactly. The scariest one I seen were coming back from Sanookville. I can't remember. We were into the road on National Road 4, I think, for about an hour or so, not even quite. And there's this really long sweeping bend. And I was just looking in the distance because I was sitting in the front, and I just seen this car fly off this road. I thought, what the hell did he do? And I thought, no, he's going to wrap himself around a tree. How the hell he never did. And when we come around the corner, I realised why he ran off the road. Right in the middle of the road, here's this guy doing some roadworks. Just had a couple of little, those little marker things there, and a little thing there with the little flashy sign on it. And that's all they had. And these cars are doing 120, 130, 140 kilometres an hour. And I'm going, holy shit. Don't they have anybody else saying slow down? No, they don't. Oh, God, that is scary. But looking through some of the traffic, and now I understand why whenever they're driving around, where some of these other scooter riders, when you're in the car, you just continually got your hand on the horn, toot, 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 toot. You just, well, as Mark Ryder would know, they just go off in any direction, and I know that as well, but I wasn't aware of why they were tooting all the time. Just make sure when they know you're coming up, there's a car coming up behind, because they're just as crazy to do anything. We were overtaking one slower guy on a one of those little tuk-tuks that had cushions galore on it, not cushions, mattresses. So he got sick and tired of waiting behind it, so he went on the left, on the right-hand side of him, down the dirt road, because they drive on the right-hand side, because they're left-hand drive cars. He went down the right-hand side of that while we went down the other side, and he'd come spitting out in front of us. Where the hell did he come from? My God, but that's what they do. That doesn't surprise me. I have seen quite a few people. Mark Ryder got some friends riding, and they are not scared of playing at 200 kilometres now. That doesn't surprise me. I have seen a couple of people, especially when they get out of it, they were going down to Campot, and they were going up to Pukoa Mountain. And some of the speeds they were doing, I thought, how can you trust? But it is what it is. That's what they're used to. I haven't made up my mind exactly what bike I'm going to get when I get over there. It's not going to be a little scooter 125. Yeah, Mark, it's frightening. I mean, I refuse. I won't join them. I was looking at it because that was quite a few years ago when I was watching this channel. He doesn't seem to put up a lot of content anymore. There are a couple of others. They get in their big groups. What was that one? They had a whole group meeting from people coming from everywhere. Not on the dirt bike ones. They're not allowed to enter anymore. They must have done that recently, because I'm going back about 7-8 years ago. I won't be getting a R1 or a CB 1300. I've already got a 1000 sitting outside there. That hasn't been used a great deal lately for other reasons. I just haven't been able to use it. Can't go anywhere. Can't ride it anywhere. But I'm not going that big. Not over there. I just don't warrant it. I'm not on a death wish over there. I'll be looking probably maximum 500cc, if that. I think Mark Ryder, he's got his bike there. Just want something about that size. Can take 2 people and just zip around close by. And that'll be, I find, will be quite okay as far as I'm concerned. I like riding a motorbike. I just find even my one, which is a pretty heavy one. But the reason I bought that was pretty cheap. I got a good deal on it. The one I was looking at was supposedly sold. Then the guy said, what about this one over here? And I didn't want 1,000. I wanted a slightly lighter and smaller bike, more nimble, but right price. And then from there, I got away with it, and for the price I paid and got it on the road and everything, I had other friends that paid $30,000 for their Ducatis. Mate, mine on the road was under $5,000. So I had $24,000 plus of fuel and maintenance before they can turn their little bike on. But trusting people here is still an issue, because you got to think everybody's a moron car driver. Not talking about anybody specifically. People going at that speeds over there, with the way they drive, and people just going anywhere and coming out from anywhere. Oh, scary as. Sometimes when I watch Mark, I think, okay, you got to be over there and you got to ride like the locals, but you also got to know how the locals think. And that's where it comes into riding like that. So I don't know. I really don't know how I'll go over there, but I don't intend riding in the city during peak times, and that's probably the scariest time at all, where there's just no room to move, nowhere to go. And when you come to the smaller intersections where the trucks just beep, 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 they don't stop. Whether you're there or not, they won't matter. They won't stop, and you got to be on the ball. You know, I spent a lifetime, too much time on the roads. So yeah, I don't intend being cattle splat on the road or bug splat on the road. I want to explore a lot more. That's why I watch a lot of Mark Ryder stuff there. He gets out and about and shows you right around. He gets out and about and around. And I think that is a good way to get out and around, and just sort of just chill out. You can put up being in the city a lot, but then I like to also get out and about and just cruise around, find places. To do that in a tuk-tuk is good, but you're still limited to how fast you can go, which is seems like about 25, 30 kilometres an hour, when they just get wound up, and then you hope, I hope they don't break down, or, had some long trips in those. Had some really good, as you said, a really good friend who was a tuk-tuk driver, and he took us everywhere. I got hold of another tuk-tuk driver. Then you got those new Bahas or whatever you want to call them. I look at it, you got to get the good ones, because I find you get in those little Baja ones, you got to get the slightly bigger ones, and you just find they're a bit more comfortable. Doing a long trip in them, very cramped when you got 3 adults, 3 kids, and other crap you want to take with you. There's just not enough room. Yeah, and travelling around Phnom Penh, as Mark Ryder just said, is still pretty hard. My partner goes to Vihir, so I don't know how she's getting. So obviously she can get across to there, which isn't very far, but obviously she's not in lockdown, or still quite open to travel over there. But I think outside those little bit of provinces there, they are in lockdown still. You'd probably know more than that than I would there at the moment, Mark. I haven't spoken to my partner yet. Can't, because I haven't turned the phone on for it, so I'm expecting it to go nuts, but she hasn't just yet. So I know she's gone back to see a father and a sister out in the province there over here. So, but I still reckon that's the way to go. I know when I get over there, they'll all say, "Yeah, grab a car and then we'll go do this and do that." I'm not going to hire a car. I just prefer to have my own. That is going to be an expenditure, and it's going to be an expensive one, but it'll be the only one that I do. That'll be it. And I know they want to do a bit of travelling, and I'd like to take the girls, especially the younger ones, with me all the time. But that'll have to go between when we're at school, or when they're not at school, they're on school holidays, because they've only just started school. I don't know if they're going back to school soon, but they're out in the province at the moment. I was talking about school going back, but I'm not sure just yet. She was supposed to call me tonight, but as you know, it hasn't happened. But until I can get over there, I think it's all going to be reacquaintance myself with the whole of Phnom Penh and the surrounds, because it's going to be changed so much. And from what I've been seeing from Mark Ryder, I'm having trouble keeping up with the buildings and the streets that I do remember. Oh, you remember that one? And then some of the others there, the buildings have just gone up so quick. Hang on, there was something there that doesn't quite, it's a new building gone up in the last 18 months. But that's how it is over there. It's just going so fast over there. It's just changing so quick, and it's expanding so much. The downside of having any property over there, I think, is you got to buy in the right place, because I do know a lot of it is built on floodplains and has very poor water pumping, getting water into your place. I think, Mark, on when you're at Tech-Mau, I think it was, just getting water up is so hard because the water pressure is just not there, and that's why I find a lot of them actually have water tanks on the roof and put a water pump on that, pump the water up there, and then just let it go down and have their water pressure that way. But that is a pretty big building. Canals, I think you said it was his brother built. But those roads and the buildings, yep. And I still reckon it's a far better way of knowing where you're going to build it, and you build up a little bit. I know my partner's brother built his little workshop, and I think he built it up about 3 feet. So that gives you an idea how high the water does go around in some of the areas. And even the road, he built up level, just above level of the road. Sister and brother-in-law, that was it, yeah. Oh, God, the stoop's on the water pumps. That's why when I'll go over there, and I'm not buying anything until I get over there, paying for the land. I want to see the land, then I'm not having someone else build it. Like I've seen some of the buildings over there. I think the shop houses and some of the other villa units there. My God, the prices they want for them. Nah. I'll be there and I'll be supervising how I want it done. And I'll be inspecting what they put in. So the father's the father, my partner's father, is pretty cluey on that. He's been around on a lot of that, so he's pretty cluey on what to get and what not to get. But I'm not doing any of that until I see what I see and what I do. And when I go over there, that's when I'll go and have a good look around, and then I'll make a decision on where I want. It won't be too far out in Phnom Penh. I know that's going to be a bit on the pricey side. And then once I've got that, when the time comes to say Melbourne, I'll be over there. That's when I'll have the house started. I'll get the foundation started, and then sort of work on it from there. And then look forward to the long term relaxing, and then basing myself out of Phnom Penh. And I look at it, that'll be the place it's easier for me to just travel around, because the visa over there, as far as I'm aware, I don't know if they're planning on changing it. They've had no thoughts or say or anything on it. And it's been the same for, I think now, I haven't changed it for pretty much for as long as I've been going, 8 years over there. I don't know how long you've been going over there for, Mark, but I was introduced to it 8 years ago. Let's see now. Yep, 8 years ago and 1 month, actually. There you go. That's memory for you. 8 years and 1 month. Let's check the date, the 22nd. 8 years, 1 month, and 2 weeks. 2 weeks, I think it is. 3 weeks. It was early August I went in there. That's right. So that's how long I've been going over there. And so I've watched everybody grow and grow and grow, and seen changes there. And in 8 years, it has changed a lot. But when the time comes to get out of here, that's where I'll be looking at basing myself out of. And I don't want to slow down and sit and vegetate like a lot of other people will do. I like my travelling. I like doing things, and I want to keep doing things. It might not be the most ideal place, but it's the best place with the best option. And I do have family there as far as I'm concerned, and that's where I'll stay. Thailand is still good. I like travelling there. I like the infrastructure. If anything drastically has to happen, I'll end up in Thailand for that. I will travel still too. I want to go back to Koh Samui, catch up with some friends there. I want to go back to Phuket, catch up with some friends there, because I do scuba diving at Koh Samui and Phuket. I want to go back up to Chiang Mai. I want to catch up. I know a couple of friends will be living down in Pattaya, and just about everywhere. I will get to the MotoGP in Buriram, if it's still going there. That will be a very hot place. I thought that was probably not a good place to be, but they really did really well on Chang Stadium there, the motor racing circuit there. They spent a lot on it, so it's really good. But all the riders come out of there. I think that when the riders finish coming off there, they turn around and sit there and in an ice bath while everybody else is out there cooking. Curiosity, Mark. When was the first time you went over there? What year? I don't like being a vegetable in sitting around. I like getting out and doing things. If I have a big night, I'll have a rest and then I'll get out and do something. That's why I've travelled quite a fair bit of Thailand. I did actually tell someone a while ago I was down 2013. So, yeah, probably roughly about the same time as I went over there. So, interesting. So you're a newbie in Cambodia, Mark Ryder. Okay. Whereabouts did you come from before then, Mark Ryder? I know you're Filipino. I got a lot of Filipino friends in the Philippines, of course, which I was talking about scuba diving and so forth. Yeah, so November 2013. So I just beat you. I was there in August. So there you go. So with that, yeah, and I thought I'll just plod on, keep travelling, keep enjoying. I just like travelling around. I spent 3 years doing basically just Koh Samui with my mate, and he just wanted to go only Koh Samui, and I'd sort of, yeah, you can only do so much of Koh Samui because I was doing anywhere between three to 5 weeks, and it just got boring. I could ride around the whole island in roughly about 2.5 hours. So, and I could just about name everything there. Yes, it's changed. I haven't been back to Koh Samui for over 8 years. From there, I done some scuba diving because I researched over there, and I wanted to go do one of the ferries over there. It sank, but never got to do that. But I ran into a guy, as I said earlier, that he was from not far from where we are. He works out of the police forensic laboratory. You'll know where that is, Mark. And from there, got to know him quite well. And from there, have a great day, Mark. Thanks for joining me. Keep up some videos going, mate. I'll be there watching them all the time. You have a great day. Thanks for joining me. Have a great evening. Yeah, so from there, I got to know him quite well and done quite a fair bit of scuba diving with him, and got to know him quite well. And I always promote the Aussie divers in Phuket, Darren Gaspari. So, yeah. So from there, I explored a fair bit of Phuket. A few more stories of drinking over there. Yeah. Never got there, but I know the place. But anyway, yeah, Mark, back in McLeod. That's basically up just behind the what they call McLeod Tech. I don't know. I think it's McLeod College now. The other high school part, something else. I'm not sure what it is. But yeah. So with that, got to know him quite well. So I always promote him. Really nice guy. Done well by me. All his staff there, the two Bryans and Darren. Really great guys, and his staff have been really good. And from there, I started exploring. Went into Bangkok. As far as Melbourne's concerned, I don't like Melbourne. I've spent my whole life working through in around Melbourne and basically all of Australia. And from there, I'm just over it. I went to a physio a couple of weeks ago, and from there, I said, well, the physiotherapist said, you can, we'll be opening up soon. We'll be, actually, it was quite a few years ago. I said, then we can go, she said, then we can go out and explore. I said, but there's nothing for me to explore. And she said, no, we go and explore. You go explore all of Victoria. I said, well, what for? I've been there, done that. I've had about 14 four-wheel drives, 3 caravans, 2 camper vans. I've got I've still got a little camper trailer. There isn't much I haven't seen in Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, except for the top end of Queensland and a bit of Western Australia. Everywhere else I've seen, and I've seen it over the last 43 years. I don't need to see anymore. I've seen what it was and to what it is. A lot of it's turned into a concrete jungle. This is where I like going overseas. I'm in a totally new culture. And it's Thailand, it was in my face. I didn't know anything. The same when I landed in Phnom Penh, that very first time, unresearched, had no idea what I was getting myself in for. And I loved it. Then I started exploring at the same time. Bangkok itself, I went there. I love the city in Bangkok. It's just so diverse. That's probably what made me really enjoy going through Phnom Penh and exploring that. And it's just so different. You got a built up, very well established infrastructure, easy to get about. Bangkok, Phnom Penh, you still got to use your wits about you, and you still got a chance to explore. And if you go about it the right way, and I've always said I like to befriend people, and they will show you more of what's around there than what the touristy places. Yes, you can go do the touristy things, and then that's about all you'll see. Or you can befriend someone, and they'll take you to somewhere where you don't know, or that doesn't get visited very regularly. So that's what I like doing. Okay, hence the reason when I get over there, have a motorbike or something like that, and go somewhere where other people don't really see. Yes, I've been to places where you walk into back in Piao. That's in top end of Thailand. The other bit more east of Chiang Rai. And anyway, got up into this place, went to the little market. Market really wasn't open. From that, I thought I'll go and explore. So I said, no, we'll go get some stuff there. We went to the Big C there, and it was just one level. I walked in, and I noticed all around me, I was the odd one out. So I stood near the door, had my glasses on, hat on, and I just stood there and watched people walking in, and everybody was walking in was just going, Falang, Falang, Falang. He's just pointing at me. I knew what they were doing because they don't see too many of them in the remote areas. And from there, I just thought, well, that's where tourists don't really get there, and that's where you see a lot of stuff. I've even gone to a place in the middle. I thought was in the middle of a whole group of housing units, and you're just driving down this laneway. That's the size of the laneway, and that's the size of the car. If anybody coming the other way, who's going to back up? Don't know. Made it there. I thought, bigger, open right up. I thought, we'll go in there. But no, I turned around. They're all disappearing into this bush block. It was actually a little restaurant. Fantastic. 5 of us had a 2-course meal, non-alcoholic drinks, of course. And then from there, I paid for the 5 of us $6 for a 2-course meal and just soft drinks. That was pretty cheap, but that was out in the middle of nowhere, and that's what it is. And it's exploring. I won't go too much into Thailand because that's a totally different ballgame. But I've done a little bit there with Siem Reap. I went to, if you've been to Sanookville, Kabal Chai, where they make the good old Anchor beer, or Anchor beer, one for a better word. Around there, love it there. I think if I do get back to Sanookville, that'll be one of the places I go. I love where they have all the waterfalls and whatnot. Grouse back massage. If you ever get into there, get down the bottom there. I think I did make a video there somewhere. And Kabal Chai. Oh, grouse. Touristy, like a lot of places, they have all the vendors charging before you get in there, but we went through. Got a little hut there to sit on and order our dinner and so forth. And we sat there for the day. And I think I'll just count up my 2, 4, 5, 6 or 7 of us, because there was two tuk-tuks took us there. And I think we paid about $50 odd. That was including alcohol and the food. I wonder why it was taking so long for him to, bring our food. what I didn't realise, the chickens were running around. That's what they were catching and making our dinner. It is what it is. But there's still lots more to explore. I reckon I want to get down there, more to Kampot and have a look around there. I do watch a lot of other videos of and around exploring Cambodia and the province areas. Some are very remote. I was thinking maybe I'll go on a lovely motorbike ride on one of those Cambodia tours from Australia. Blokes World, I think you might know that, Mark. But I don't know. I think that's pretty full on. But anyway, I think I gaggled on a bit too much. I wasn't going to do nearly an hour and a half. Well, I think I do a good job to talk about nothing. But anyway, I think I'll end it while I've still got a few breaths of fresh air left in me. Thanks for joining us. Actually, they still are on TV, but I think they're on one of the smaller channels, and you don't see a great deal of them anymore. So they still put up the odd post here and there. I can't think of his name. One of them actually lives over there, and he does that full on all the time. He was doing that between Vietnam and Cambodia, and I think he was doing a lot more out of Vietnam. God, what's his name? Not the one that stays, who lives in Queensland now. He's actually from King Lake, one of the guys that started Blokes World up. God, can't think of his name. Be too late when I remember, but anyway. I'm going to wind this up. So thanks for dropping by, Mr. Mark, and everybody else that's dropped by along the way. I've enjoyed talking to myself. Sorry I'm on the little webcam. Didn't set up the other one properly again. I wonder why it wasn't working properly, so it was a bit of a mad rush at the last minute. But I do have a proper camera, which I want to use to do my streaming instead of the little webby cam. I've got better settings on that. So hopefully I can make things a little bit better next time. Alrighty. Yeah, catch ya in the next one. So yeah, I don't know what the sounds like. I've got a video camera there and a proper microphone set up there, but I didn't set it up properly, I don't think. I'll do it properly for the next time. I was going to use StreamYard with it, but this is just straight through YouTube Studio. So this seems to be working all right, but I think I've got a little bit more to play around with. I can put a little green screen, which I was going to play around with. But next time, we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time. We'll get some of Kermie. You've got to send me that address for that. I'll go and have a look at Kermie, see if I can find some. I haven't been able to find it at many places, and I was quite surprised Canal found some in Yolambia of all places. That sort of, but the price-wise didn't surprise me. Put it that way. But anyway, get that. If you do get some, I'll go harvest with you if and when we can ever get that catch-up. How's that sound? Sounds pretty good to me. There might be a bit extra, and yeah. All right, we'll end it right now. Thanks for joining. It's been a nice chat to everybody, and till the next one, catch ya.